Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Hope your week has been off to a really good start. My name is Mark, and I want to talk to you today a little bit about something in chemistry known as saturation points. There is not an element that has been discovered in the universe that has the unlimited capacity to just continue to absorb and absorb and absorb and absorb without end. It doesn't exist. Everything has a point at which it has become saturated, meaning it cannot take on anything else until it has been wrung out or emptied so that it becomes a vessel that they can now take on more. We can demonstrate that with a sponge, just a simple kitchen Scotch-Brite sponge, right? So if I take a container of water and I dip the sponge becomes full, and it really doesn't matter how many more times I dip the sponge. Once it's full, it can't take on any more. And here's the thing, you can change containers. We can go to a square container, and we can dip it and let it absorb, but it doesn't matter how many times we do it, it will not take on any more. We can go to a cup if you'd rather, or if you're more simple, little plastic Tupperware action here, you can put it in there, pull it back out. The container doesn't matter. Once the sponge is full, it's saturated, it's reached what is called the saturation point, and it cannot take on any more until it is emptied. I would suggest today that you and I have a tendency to go find information in all kinds of different places. We do it at conferences, at books, from podcasts and the internet. There's sermons on demand anymore on the internet. We can read up on just about any subject under the sun. But what I would suggest to you today is this: unless you and I empty, or in our case, apply what we're learning, then the latest information that we just got is probably going to be useful for a second or two, and then we're going to forget it, and we're going to forget that it ever happened, and we're not really going to know what to do with it because we're not in the habit of applying what we've learned. So, in Christianity, we have this tendency to assume that maturity and knowledge are the same thing. If I'm a mature believer in Jesus Christ, then I have attained and retained a significant amount of knowledge, and I can regurgitate it when needed. But the funny thing is, there's a guy in the New Testament, we call him Paul. He talks about maturity from the perspective of fruit. We know that an immature fruit tree cannot grow fruit. It has to have branches that can support the weight of the fruit. It has to have pollination. It has to have good soil to grow up in. Once it's mature, it will begin to grow fruit. What are the fruit that believers can grow? Well, Paul said they were love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. It's in Galatians 5. And among that list of 9 elements, knowledge doesn't take center stage. Knowledge is necessary, but what is the evidence of walking with Jesus? What is the evidence of maturity in Christ? It's fruit. It's fruit. The fruit that we bear is the evidence of what we're applying and living out in our lives. So here's the thing. In James chapter 4 and verse 17, we're told that if anyone then knows the good that they ought to do and doesn't do it, for them it is sin. So here's the thing. That last podcast that you listened to, the last blog or vlog that you watched or consumed, that last mind-expanding thought will never become a life-changing thought until it grows legs and has application. So what's the last best thing that you heard? This is how we empty ourselves. This is how we bring ourselves out. We begin to apply and live out what we know to be true, which is an act of faith in and of itself. And then we watch God grow this fruit in our lives: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. My hope and prayer is that this week you will pray about what is it that you need to begin to apply into your life so that you can empty yourself out of some of these things so that God can begin to put more in. I hope that's helpful. We'll see you next time. Bye.